It's been so long since we've seen each other, I think maybe I should reintroduce myself. Hello, I'm Rabbi Berkovitz, the CEO of Jewish Family Service. Thank you for being here. I mean, look around. This is actually extraordinary. It's been so long since we've seen each other and been able to see each other. We walk into this ballroom as individuals, but coming together, it is clear we are something far greater. We are a community. You, me, and the extended web of supporters, staff, board members, and volunteers. Together, we are testimony to the power of we and what is possible when we work together to help those in need. For over 130 years, Jewish Family Service has weathered many storms, but few have been as destabilizing as what we have endured in our recent past. At times, it has felt like whitewater rafting in a fog, wearing a blindfold. So many of our pillars have been tested and rocked to the foundations. We were forced into social isolation, unsure what was safe. We were challenged to question the truth of so much we never even bothered to consider, and too often took for granted. From our physical well-being, our laws, our institutions, to our communities. Not to mention far more pressing and existential and troubling questions like, will QFC still have toilet paper? The ground has continually shifted beneath us. And yet, through it all, what is clear is how deeply we need each other. The Jewish tradition is not individualistic. It is fundamentally communal. So I recall a study I read several years ago about fishermen in Alaska. More specifically, it explained why some fishermen survived and others did not when their fishing boat sunk in the treacherous waters of the Bering Sea. The study described something unexpected. When a boat went down, the older fishermen seemed to survive, while the younger, stronger fishermen drowned in higher numbers. There was a key difference between the generations. The older fishermen stayed together, while the younger ones thought they would survive better on their own. They didn't. What the older fishermen understood is that they could not go it alone. They needed each other, not just for their physical strength, but for the emotional support when they couldn't see the horizon and had only the unfathomable depths below them. Well, it's unclear how accurate my memory is of this study, and it's also unclear how accurate my memory is in general. What is unequivocally true and what our ancestors fundamentally understood is we should never separate ourselves from our community. Each of us is responsible for one another. This is what many of us have been reminded of these past several years. It's just not healthy to live in isolation. We're social creatures. We need each other. And for many of the people who turn to JFS, it is our staff and it is our volunteers who are the only we they have in their lives. And together, with you, we say, you are not alone. We see you. We believe in you. We walk alongside people while others turn away. We listen to their fears and their hopes. We celebrate their successes, no matter how small that might be. And at other times, we may be the only ones left to remember them, to stand at their funerals, and to bury them. At JFS, this is a commitment to the power of we, and it is why we show up. The power of we doesn't mean we always agree on politics or ideology. But it does mean we believe in the hard work of being present and figuring things out together in an increasingly complicated world. It means we turn toward each other and not away. And we always strive to put our relationships at the core, even when that is difficult. We reject us and them binary thinking and always strive to see the human face across from us, no matter how similar or different that face may appear from our own. It's about attaching ourselves to something greater than our individual fleeting concerns and needs. It means linking to something that transcends and connects us to our ancestors and our descendants. And sometimes something greater may look like dignifying very small acts. Even if they seem insignificant in the grand scale of human suffering, in the end, no act of kindness, no act of dignity, no act of compassion is ever insignificant. Indeed, these may be the most potent responses we can ever offer. Our ancestors continually emphasized the infinite importance of every human soul and the role we all have in improving our world. Everyone connected to JFS lives out these foundational values. These enduring truths are what has sustained not only Jewish family service for 130 years, over 130 years, but the Jewish people for millennia. There is a recognition that in the end, we are all just guests here. We are passing through the grand sweep of history. And in that way, we are caretakers for the legacy of generations yet to come. This is how I see my role at JFS. I am just a guest and a caretaker. I am profoundly aware that as CEO, I am a steward of a Jewish communal resource that was handed down to me, and ultimately, I will have to pass on to future generations. More than any other time, I have felt the weight of that responsibility as the needs have increased and societal beliefs have shifted and fractured. We have been tested, and we continue to be tested. But despite all the friends and family we have lost, all those we have mourned, and everything we have endured the past several years, and we have endured a lot, we are still here, continuing to do the work, carrying on their legacies, so future generations can have the choice to do the same. And you have continually showed up, and together we have made a difference in thousands of people's lives. You have helped keep people housed when they faced eviction. You have ensured people were fed when they were hungry. And you have helped others whose homelands were destroyed resettle in a new country. Together, we have made it possible for Holocaust survivors to age with dignity and people with disabilities to merely be treated with the basic human dignity they deserve. It is our belief in the collective power of we that is the magic of Jewish family service, and it will continue to be our North Star. Over the past several years, when you could have focused on your own challenges, you never turned away from the struggles of other people in our community. You helped us find masks when we needed masks, deliver basic needs to our neighbors, and continue to be here for the increasing number of people who are just trying to hold on as the waves gather. Your presence today is a statement of the commitment to the power of we. And the power of we is what is desperately needed as we continue to navigate these turbulent waters. We must invest in and trust in our relationships built over time. And that means always keeping the best interest of all of the people who look to Jewish family service at the forefront of our minds, judging to the merit, assuming best intentions. We see the infinite worth in every human being, no matter who they love, where they were born, or how they live. And people cannot feel like they belong if they don't feel safe. And what does offering safety to our community look like? Jewish people, non-Jewish people, refugees, older adults, children, survivors. What does that look like? If you'd been at JFS these past several years, it looks like the team members from Supportive Living showing up for clients, knowing they might be the only person that client will see all week. It looks like completely changing the way we operated the food bank to continually serve over 3,200 people who are food insecure. And working with our dedicated volunteers to deliver food to socially isolated seniors. Together, we doubled the frequency of household visits. Or it looked like a kid just dropping off a bag of nickels and dimes because she wanted to do something to help. Because of you, we were able to provide financial assistance to over 2,200 people. It looked like a colleague in our Refugee and Immigrant Service Program, who themselves came to this country as a refugee not long ago, driving to the airport at midnight to welcome a newly arrived family from the same war-torn country that they once fled, or an advocate sitting with a child escaping human trafficking. This year alone, we have resettled 415 refugees in Puget Sound region and helped 374 people find jobs. And our team in older adult services, well, they supported over 900 seniors, including 245 Holocaust survivors. This is what it means to show up. This is what it looks like to never give up. This is what it looks like to take a stand against the darkness in our world. And this is the power of we in action. Recently, I met a group of young professionals. And for the first time in a very long time, it gave me hope. It gave me hope because as a Jew, there are times when I feel like I am part of an endangered species, believing in some quixotic dream, fighting dragons when others tell me they're only windmills. It gave me hope because they understood why our community matters and why it matters that Jewish Family Service exists as Jewish Family Service and not Seattle Family Service. And they want to help carry those ideals into the future. They understood and understand the importance of the Jewish in Jewish Family Service, not as something alienating and parochial, not as some ancient religion. We're more than a religion, but as something elemental. The underlying stories, our ancestors' voices, and the values that energize and animate all we do. And this gave me hope. You see, for me, I see Jewish Family Service as an ideal to strive towards and a statement more than merely an institution. It is a statement of what is possible for our community and our society when we believe we are stronger together and not alone. JFS is a rejection of the divisiveness and the othering, corroding our ability to see the good in each other. I must believe it is not only possible, but necessary to at once care for the particular needs of the Jewish community and also feel commanded to serve beyond the Jewish community. That we can be at once particular as well as universal without rejecting either. This is what it means to be our brother's keeper, to follow the path of peace. Ours is a tradition that speaks in the language of mitzvah, of command, not suggestions. It speaks in the language of tzedakah, tzedek, of justice, not charity. Looking to our ancestors as well as our descendants, our tradition speaks in the language of us, of we. In this way, we speak of hope and not despair. This is what Jewish Family Service stands for and why it matters that you are here today. This is the power of we, and there can be no we without you. And because you show up and continue to believe that our work matters, and that our work is a statement pointing to something bigger than any of us, to what is possible when we work together, to what values look like in action, this is what we will always continue to fight for. The belief that together we can heal and repair what is broken, while recognizing that our foundations are solid. That together, like our ancestors, we can reach the promise just over the horizon. And for this and so much more, you will always have my gratitude. Thank you.